If you use melatonin to go to sleep, here's something to think about. A recent study suggests that there's a link between long-term melatonin use and an increased risk of heart problems, specifically heart failure. KSL medical contributor Phil Cowley here joins us. So Phil, obviously when we talk about heart failure and then so many people use melatonin to go to sleep, I'm sure this is a big alarm for a lot of people.
Yeah, and I think that's why it came out the way it did, as a huge alarm. But it's all like saying you can't get in a car wreck if you don't get inside of a car. The car doesn't really...
So that's the level of concern that we should have.
Yeah, because the car, melatonin isn't causing the problem. It's just masking a lot of problems that you should be taking care of.
Okay, so what did the study find exactly?
The study found that people who had problems that were already in the heart attack range or congestive heart failure who took a lot of melatonin for long periods of time were at a substantial higher risk. And that should have been somewhat expected to see, because as the heart gets worse, you sleep worse, and so you take the melatonin to try to cover that symptom up.
So it's more the sleep issue and not the melatonin issue.
That's really why they're leaning towards this whole thing, and the idea that people aren't going to go get seen, because if you have sleep apnea or problems like that where you're not breathing well at night, that's obviously going to lead to higher risk factors.
So I shouldn't be so concerned if I'm on melatonin right now to go to sleep.
No, I mean, if you're just taking melatonin, it's not, none of this had to do anything with the study at all. Whereas if you have congestive heart failure and you're starting to see that this melatonin isn't working, or you haven't been checked out for some of those other things, you absolutely want to go see your doctor to make sure there isn't an underlying problem you should be treating.
So the real issue then is what then?
The real issue is that we have a tendency, as we start to decline in health, to cover symptoms that we should be going to see physicians for or talking to healthcare professionals. We've got to a point now where it's just a little sleep problem, but really you have to start asking the why question, not the what question.
So it's just kind of like those situations where you've been putting off going to the doctor for some nagging issue, and that's really kind of the heart of where we're at with this.
100%. The better educated that everybody is and says, okay, I know I haven't been sleeping well and I know I have this, the better outcomes that we're going to have. It's all about taking control of your health.
So if people want to just get a better, clear understanding of melatonin, if they hear about this, what does melatonin do then when you're trying to go to sleep?
So melatonin's super cool. The light comes down and it hits your eye just at the right angle, and that stimulates this little gland in your brain called the pineal gland. Mm-hmm. And that squeezes out melatonin. It hits these receptors, melatonin 1 and 2 receptor. And that shuts the gate on all the excitatory neurotransmitters like norepinephrine, glutamate, things like that. And it opens up the gate for GABA to help us relax. Once that happens, melatonin then stimulates for our body temperature to drop a little bit. And once the body temperature drops and the change in neurotransmitters happen, then our brain waves and the cortex change from these really fast waves to slow one, and that, boom, you're in phase 1 of sleep.
Okay, so people are like, okay, I've been on this, and maybe I don't want to have to rely on this anymore, and I'm concerned.
Yeah.
What should they do instead?
So magnesium glycinate should be your first go-to. Magnesium not only helps you fall asleep, the glycinate actually works, it's part of it, it works like a neurotransmitter like GABA to put you to sleep. Plus magnesium's been found to be very helpful with people who have heart issues. So use magnesium glycinate frequently, melatonin when you need to.
There you go, you got some options right there. Phil, I appreciate you kind of sifting us through all this and helping us kind of know how alarmed we should be and how alarmed we shouldn't be.
Yeah, it's always the key, is learning more. I think that's great.
No, we definitely did that. Thank you, Phil.
Thank you.